And welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney result. So we're actually going to pick up where we last left off, namely at the second part of the trial. February 23rd, 9:23 a.m. Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Whoa! Okay.
This is it then, Naruhodo.
Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that has been plaguing Natsume. To everything.
And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you.
I always appreciate your help, Susato. Suffering! Sasuke! Selfishly! Sideline!
Oh,
Good morning to you, too, Natsume. Good morning! Good morning! Welcome, student! Naruhodo Esquire! Listen to you two chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here! Why would you do that? Why?
dear. We didn't mean to cause offense, Natsume. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding inner calm. Is it wrong to disturb you?
I was waiting!
What's the matter, Natsume? You seem different somehow today.
Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own depth. I prefer my own depth than death. Thank you. Oh, such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. I missed the signs, I'm afraid. Somehow. You'll have to forgive me.
And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Natsume.
That was just an example!
Oh yeah, there it is. Here,
Baby came to see me at all yesterday. I will show you abandoned me and return to our beautiful long-lost homeland.
We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet.
Yes, well, anyway. I intend to set everything straight for today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. Yes, I plan to do that. Soseki. Natsume. Oh, my name isn't Ramen. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright.
Twould seem Mr. Sums isn't coming today at all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits.
It's a very clear message, I think. Yeah, he's overslept again. The great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant and your legal representative. The trial's about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Sosuke's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. A few minutes later, in the courtroom, 9:40. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Yes, defense ready. Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done. You mark my words.
I feel obliged to say I feel especially rivers of days when my hat's just sitting right. Well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me, and please be as ruthless as you like. Fews deserve to die, if you ask me, especially Garstings. No sympathy for the man at all.
Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. I don't have the time for this. I've got my own problems.
May the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today.
Now, Lord Van Zeeks, what can you tell us? The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's team. So it does have reasons. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the black god in the dock. Pray, allow me a moment to save a liquid more sanguine soul. In fact, I defer to the good detector for a report. Here's to you, Inspector. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a little depression on the top of it. Yes, that's the tea. That's what Natsume brought with him that night. Well, Brains, at the yard analyzing, yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it.
No poison at all?
In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. To be clear. What a revelation! As I suspect. This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Sosuke Natsume, is my learned friend is jumping to conclusions and can keep Kunio-kun's reaction. What? Yes, it is true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap underneath the lids. But when logic is thought, would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean is salty? My word, the water in the ocean is extremely salty, Consul. 5. Exactly. Unfit for drinking. Just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shakespeare, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's request.
Mr. Shakespeare?
Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend. Native, show Mr. Shakespeare to the stand. Mr. William Shakespeare, victim of this despicable crime. Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shakespeare, did have a bellyful of foul fluid given in mine innocence. Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe. By using balls of soap such as these, he has been stealing gas from the supplies of police. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shakespeare, did have a roomful of the sweet fuel given. That's right, Vergers, don't forget this man's a rotten thing. I haven't forgotten. Kept all that about the ice coins inside the secret, didn't you? Should have opened up earlier.
Arrest him, I say. Arrest him at once, and let him feel the sting in my tail. Oh, indeed, by dint of vile and cowardly means, have I plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But wouldn't that a still greater crime passeth unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of Father East then therein did contrive to poison me. But there was no poison team found in your room. The police have attested that. What the defense would assert as an inconsistency would clearly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shakespeare? Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak. Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea. Tea inconsistency. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Was feigning distraction in our debate, never did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he did depart by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my corn device. This is no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience. Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance. But no poison bottle was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his food. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. Ugh! By now it should be perfectly clear.
chips is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused hands. Says, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamspear, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause, I have naught to lose. I do declare. Thank you for your testimony, witness. Can to proceed with the cross-examination. Hey! One, two, three. I present to thee the teacups. The last statement was contradictory in a number of ways, I think you'll find. In a number of ways, you say. That's right, my lord. In a number of ways. Perhaps it would serve you well to concentrate your efforts on one contradiction at a time, Counsel. I mean, mess with that. Number ways in. This must be the cup that Mr. Shamspear was drinking from then. Stain on the inside. He does that, I'm afraid. Even green tea. Oh, really? Never noticed before. You've never noticed? Well, I never leave it in the cup long enough to leave a mark. I like to go down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it? Oh dear, so many people seem to have the wrong idea about our culture. And most of them are Japanese. From which Mr. Natsume was drinking. Yes, and like the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean. I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave him off. I was gulping down too. Sorry, Naruhodo? Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold. Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea. They didn't say examine it. You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible. How, chop logic? What is this, ye dark, ye cloudy fiend? The two teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other used by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof. Incontrovertible? What difference? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring. Yes, indeed. Call me please. Indeed. Such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup forward. And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring. Go Good Lord, you're right. It's completely clean.
And sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted. Drink.
Tea. While it's hot.
That's right. Yes. The jittery Natsume was true to his usual self that night and would drink his tea in no time. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well. After several hours, the tea was left standing. In short, Mr. Shakespeare,
You clearly lied to the court.
to the nunnery! As a rule, I fill my hollow chalice up to 7 times during any time. See, I'm keeping count. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Yet on occasion, Gideon distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of your memory. To William Shakespeare. Yes, my liege. Though you have previously stated that you made the coins are placed from the leftover tea in the accused's cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the sink? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Faith, my liege, thou art a magician! For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese friendly cup, but lo, when I looked, it was empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot as my liege did suggest. And you just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before. Are we supposed to believe that? People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us 2 things about it. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup. And secondly, that the spud cup was not a source of the insipid exquisite that which reached this court. The prosecution makes fine summary of the facts. Furthermore, testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts in other words. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No! It cannot exist! My lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear, after I did die at Grubb's Reverie Ale House that night, not did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese was bad, stupid as low as death. And on what did you dine, sir? Why, I did partake of my favorites, above as would it be cold soup,
And a leaf would be the cold salad, soup and sour. No sandwich? As insalubre as something was the establishment where it was served. But you guys would give us 7 photos to make me. Willingly would I suffer what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas, but I pray ye yet, and noble fellows, never forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. What the fuck? Judas and all you humble servant, some spirit of entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord! If I may speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I believe you've been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. By me?
I do declare you may be right.
We all know the wife there was making coins of eyes to keep himself warm. But this lawyer said he guys, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been eating us a garden crap, and that's what he's been doing.
I really never said anything more to it.
What we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. The court acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings. What? No! You can't! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
有罪
有罪有罪有罪
有罪有罪
I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord. Oh, happy day!
How is this happening?
My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination. Very well, the court opposes the defense, right? This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Judges, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime of which he is charged. The juror's contentions. I'm a man among all of me, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must be logically be guilty.
I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid pain.
Stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal gases.
Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Even to this day, it still does. Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
If nothing else, past the victim lived that night, there's no other explanation is here.
I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about the gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. Just like everything else. But never mind. Oh, no, you really shouldn't.
The truth is, my counter-argument wasn't as assailable as we thought. And Mr. Shakespeare was poisoned, there can be no doubt about that.
Then how are we supposed to turn this around?
I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamsberg was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly. But that's surely impossible at this stage. If you'll manage it somehow. Not me. Found guilty.
No delays, Counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Defense rebuttal. One, two, three, four. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas?
There's an all-out attack on the way here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas.
Jury number 3, is everything all right?
Quite alright, thank you.
Oh, no, I mean... Was something that was just said significant to you in some way?
No, not really.
Oh, well, sorry.
Not at all, don't make sense.
Right, thank you.
Or is it that the more normal this man's responses are, the more I feel on edge? I'm afraid it's an occupational hazard, not a hello.
I didn't think that being a lawyer was particularly hazardous.
I need to watch more carefully before I pursue chores in the future.
The two statements are fundamentally at odds with one another. Hold it, my lord. As foreman of the jury, I must object.
Wow.
Being a leader, it's my duty to stand up for all jurors here present. Stand up for them, I will. I concur with the foreman. Counsel, I warn you. I shan't provide any pettifoggery. Till you've got your facts straight. Keep your pointy fingers to yourself.
It's already done. I'm trying to find inconsistencies in these juror statements, The key to comparing the different things they say before attempting to pit them one another.
Alright, I'll have another go.
Now I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I?
He's really buzzing out.
I've heard about our wonderful fuels, explosions, and poisons. What about electricity? What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
That explosion could hardly be described as nothing. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable.
My point exactly, but the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know.
More devious. Who, man?
Other gas companies, of course.
Other gas companies.
Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed. Nobody's questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have gas at all.
What?
Well, if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see.
Steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible?
Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. They then make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally, but a brazen form of theft. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of
So
these...
you ba.
Ah, gotcha. I didn't really let it run. I didn't really press I jumped it up.
We always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies have been up to its tricks.
Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3?
Oh golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself.
I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct?
Well, yes. I just got a little riled about it recently, you see.
Go on.
An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in. And do you know what he did?
I'm afraid I have no idea.
But please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you.
What do you mean?
I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network.
Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it?
Obviously, there's gas in the pipes and it's at very low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker.
The trouble is, the particular worker came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might. You could tell, you could guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean...
That's right. The lights didn't just flicker, they went out. Blown stove, gas started pouring
into the house. What a disaster.
The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out.
I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. So, by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room.
Naruhodo, I think perhaps.
Yes, this almost certainly is the clue that we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you like, I don't mind. Well, I do! That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that... Like I said, madam, is widely known already. Very well, juror number 3, you amend your statement accordingly. Yes, my lord, although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Blow too hard to a gas pipe and you extinguish everything in the house, you're in real trouble. If there's nothing else past the victim's lips that night, there is no explanation. These two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious, to whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 6, did you hear what juror number 3 just said? Wait, yes, of course, I heard him mumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Natsume's tea did, in a manner of speaking, past the victim's lips on the night in question. What? What explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall at the scene? To see if there were any traces of poison there. I was curious to see what you found and what resulted this time, but the mouth of the gas pipe. Scotland have enough to do without exploit such irrelevance. What a piece of work is a man. What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspeare? What speakest thou? Privy is not strange and strange. That is what I say to thee, sir. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body. Good Lord! All they tasted ain't gas pipes, is that what he's saying?
But Izzy's gentleman suggested that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly for games. Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him.
For shame, madam! Speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes! Six. This is no summation examination. This is a false. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. Okay? The lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions! There's no possible proof that the man did as you say. You just hit 7, sir. It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Shamspeare put his lips to the pipe.
was so suggestive. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamsbury has been doing something in front of the lamp on his wall.
Ugh.
And I have evidence to prove it.
All right, you've got our attention, mind. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see this evidence then. Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shamsbury stood in front of his gas lamp. The handprints on the wall. What the? These are, wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin prints from some? I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Harlock Solmes. It reveals all of the places that Mr. Shamsbury touched in his room.
I've never seen anything look on me. That's black magic, is it?
Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Solmes, right? That's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineered Thumbs was quite fascinating. I found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, costume. However, Mr. Shamsbury also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here.
Around the hanging picture there. Indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder, could you be appreciating all my glass? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are and you would find yourself directly in front of... I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Well, the reason why isn't immediately obvious. It's clear that Mr. Shamsbury has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp.
Right! What have you been up to, you nut?
Have you been jerking off, sir? I'd asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me, what I said? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now, if you recall juror number 3's statement, what? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out and the gas to start leaking into the homes. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Shamsbury were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will.
Crikey!
Are you suggesting that the man purposely caused the gas to... Yes, I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination. I must toss my learned friends utter disregard for the letter of the law.
What is the meaning of this, Lord Vantage?
This curious photograph of whatever is presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints, clearly that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting forensic technique developed by a great detective. It's not a mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands.
imagine a heavy research was to make sure about their esteem, Mr. Sue. Cannot be recognized by the court's form of evidence.
Please, my lord, if I may.
Susato?
It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We really wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And if that trial were to come to an end now, we would never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree.
You're right! Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3.
Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results so absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what that shady actor fella has to say about those shady handprints.
2.
What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Pat, I did say denying it. I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair to take him evidence.
Oh well, don't matter all that. Just one more jury changes his or her mind. Natsume's trial will have to continue.
Thank you, Susato. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh no, it's you who identified the clue after all. That's very much your success.
It's our success.
Why, Mr. Shakespeare, you seem to be losing your composure.
Just one more juror, Naruhodo. You can do it.
Very well, continue, counsel. Well, sir. All the evidence is there.
That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with the big mustache.
Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache.
But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events on the night in question. What do you make of that? What, your so-called skin prints?
It's a exciting forensic investigation technique developed by the great detective himself.
The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shakespeare had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution writer says, we should pay no heed to the unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes, even if the fellow had been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance.
You didn't make a valid point, sir.
What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please.
Maruhodo, we can't substantiate our position. I'm afraid the jurors have changed their minds before, may very well change them back.
What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give you? Can I show them that Mr. Shamsville really did blow down the gas pipe? Night question. I have supporting testimony. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates that. There's witness testimony that substantiates that.
What's that testimony?
It's incredible. What's whose testimony?
Yes, it's all connected. Everything's linked. The person whose testimony reveals details about the gas in the Gyardeb residence that night, namely... Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant. Sosuke Natsume himself.
The defendant?
At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Natsume said the following.
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings at my lodgings! Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Trapsmith's room, I lit my gas stove and I climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me!
On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not?
Connie!
So that Shamsmith had a blew air to the gas pipe to make the man stove guard on purpose?
The old Jones was there. What will you do that for?
Mr. Foreman,
What is it, man?
we cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet, however. You must surely agree that there's more to this case than meets the eye. Fair enough. Like I said, not the outside. I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. As the defense has rightfully indicated, the examination is concluded with a majority of jurors alternating their decisions. 2 jury members are now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jurors' opinions conflicted and in accordance with the law of the land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamsville! My lord, how can my humble Shamsville serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation and examination? So God mend me, I do solemnly swear. I recall aught of neither lamp nor pipe.
Well, your handprints may have tiny mess all over the wall there. How you explain that, eh?
I am done with this. The dignity of this great court has been studied enough already. Juror number 5.
Who, me?
As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective's toy have no place in the British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall,
remains at this time an established conjecture. You all know too well to remember that.
異議あり
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shakespeare's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there,
異議あり
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind.
we recall that in order to check for the presence of gas in the tea, some remnants of tea were required.
Yes?
Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have been completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. I didn't think of that. In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you described. I don't know. For this matter, I wanted to blow air into the gas pipe while I waited. There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder.
Order! Counsel! Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end?
It's going to be more simple. Now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shakespeare wanted to end the life of this man right here. If a gas lamp were to go out, it will be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be suddenly extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing.
I'll let around this ball myself so I know it's locked. I will tell you, trying to sleep up the stove that's pretty much suicide. You're afraid to never know, Tom.
Miss Garrett, landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shakespeare was trying to end.
Outrageous.
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
異議あり
The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting.
However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely,
The accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question that then arises is who put it there? Huh? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill. Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If there's anywhere unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shakespeare's murderous designs? You mean to suggest? Naturally, the sort of possible answer to that question would be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was clearly a territory attack can only have been the accused, Soseki Natsume. However, Mr. William Shakespeare may or may not have contrived. He was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated the attack is the accused, Mr. Notsman. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion for the accused. Far from it. Now that the clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend?
Holy man, she turned that around on me so quick, so rapidly.
Naruto, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury will change their leanings against us king. And this may be our last chance to gain advantage.
Okay. What advantage?
Well, it would seem that somebody put poison in the gas pipe in Mr. Sham's family. So we mislead a person now and absolve Natsume of guilt.
You mean name the true culprit?
I know, it might sound plausible, but we failed to do that. I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all.
As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. It's all pointing to a particular person. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider the leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman.
Don't you, you know exactly that?
There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit?
A tale found only in second-rate novels featuring a third-rate great characters, my Nicholas friend. But why not? As far as it's gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before his disappointing crime ends. Thank you. Tell us, my Nicholas friend, what is your latest tale? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? The name of this person responsible for this poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare is, I believe, Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green. I do feel as though I've heard the name in the recent past, counsel, but I do not recall where. Miss Olive Green. The woman from 60s. The victim in the recent case of the stabbing on Bravo. Yeah, the one with the back fat saving her from death. An incident for which Natsume was arrested, I hesitate.
Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green.
She was left comatose for 3 days, I believe. I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shakespeare's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in the hospital bed at the time she appeared to have a rather fine alibi. True, the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital, unconscious. So on the face of it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in in the hospital yesterday. And we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious. She had poison? And there's another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Shamsmith.
My lord, pray, what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
No, never heard of it. Judge might look up Shamsmith's face. I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least by name. At least not by name.
As the voice of my majesty the prosecution held, I did heal to my lord. We will see, my learned Japanese friends fast forward to this conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring on here. Yes, Miss Otto Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well, I grant the request. Excellent. My lord. The defendant has made an most extraordinary accusation, I must say. At the present time, I fear the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court's adjourned. And with that, we shall definitely be stopping right here. And that's it. I'll see you in the next part when we deal with the conclusion of this case and trial. Stay tuned for the next part. Thanks so much for watching.